Hello guys, welcome back to my tutorial. So after a year, I decided to create a part 3 of my tutorial about CRUD using C++. Okay, so I decided to create another one. But this one, what I did is the data that before the data will be saved to the text file, it will be stored first in an array, and when you click the or you press the number 6, it will save the created records to the text file. Okay, so let's check how this program work. For example, I will create a new record, so I will press 1. Okay, so for example, I will enter an employee number 123, employee name. Okay, another 1 3 4 5, Leo. Okay, so I try to display. I will press 5. Okay, so the two records are added to our array. Okay, so for example, I want to add more records. So press 1, example, and Loni. Okay, I will display it again. Okay, so it added here to our record. Okay, so when we exit our program, for example, press number 6, then we will press enter. Okay, so this record from the array, it will be saved in a text file. Okay, so let's check. Okay, so let's run again to see if the record is still exists in our text file. So we will display. So the records retain to our text file. So even though we close our application, then we run it again. So this data came from a text file. So when we enter a record, it will be load first to a single dimensional array. Then when we press the 6, it will be saved to our text file. And when we load again our program, so those data from the text file will be loaded again to the array. Okay, so let's try to update. Okay, shall we say we will update the employee with the ID number 123. So let's press 2. Okay, so let's say we will update the 345. Okay, we will rename Leo. Okay, press enter. Then we will display it again. So you see, the record number 2 is now updated to Leo. So we will update the record number 1. Press 2. And when the ID is 123, we will search the ID 123. Okay, we will rename JJ. Enter. Then we will display it again. Okay, the record number 1 is now update to JJ. So search. So let's try to search. Okay, let's try to search the ID number 564. Let's press 4. We will search for the ID number 564. Okay, see? So the record of employee 564 ID is now displayed. Okay, what if we will search for unknown ID? This one. Will prompt no record found. Okay, so let's add another record, and we will add another ID number, example 000. Boom. Okay, so let's display all the record. Okay, it added here. Okay, we will search for record 345 or 123. Search, press 4, 123. Okay, display the record 123. Okay, so we will display all the record. Press 5. Let me say we will delete. How to delete this record with the ID number 00. Let's press the 3 option. Then we will delete ID number 00. For example, we delete ID that does not exist. So we say does not exist. Okay, so we will display it again. So we say we will delete the ID 000. Yes. Okay, so we will display it again. Let's check if it's still there. Okay, it's deleted. So let's add it again. 000. Okay, we will search. We'll perform the search 000. Hit display. So we will display all. Press 5. Okay, we have 4 records. So we will exit. So this record will be saved to our text file. So when we load it again, let's display. Okay, it saves. It retrieves from the text file and display it to our screen. I will explain to you the detailed how I created the code. Okay, so for those who did not yet subscribe my channel, kindly subscribe to see more, so that you can be updated for another tutorial. I'll show you how to create this program. Okay guys, so let's start from the scratch. Okay, so first we will use 3 libraries. Okay, so first we will use the IOStream. The other library is the string, and the last library that we are going to use is the fstring. Okay, for those who did not know about these libraries, so you can check out my previous tutorials. So there I explained the function of these libraries. So these are the 3 libraries that we are going to use. Okay, we have the fstream. This is for file input and output stream. So when we write something to a file or a text file, so we will use this library. Create a namespace, okay, for standard input output command. Then next we will declare a constant variable. So we will make it constant so that we can expand easily our array, just changing here in our max row. So for this example, the maximum rows or the maximum record that we are going to add is only 10. So we can easily adjust our number of rows by changing this constant number. Okay, so then we need another 2 string array variable. So since we are going to enter the name and the employee number, so we need 2 array variables. The data type is string. So if you will add more columns, so you can add more array here. For example, you can add address or anything you want. So you just add here. Okay, so then the max row is the index of our arrays, so that when we change our constant, it will also adjust the length of our array. So those are the 2 variables. So you can add variables if you want to add more columns. So next is we will create a menu. So our menu will be put in our main function. Okay, so we'll create a menu. Then we need an option variable. Okay, so the option variable is used to store the option or the number that will be used as our corresponding command to our menu. We will add a clear screen. Then we will add our menu. Okay, so since this menu, we will put inside our do while loop. Okay, because this will be displayed, or this will always be displayed, and by the time that the user will hit the 6 number, it will be exit. Okay, so that's why we add this condition to our while. So while option is not 6, so meaning if the user will enter any character which is not equal to 6, it will not exit. So this this part of our program or executed, or this menu will always display to our screen, except when the user enter a not 6 number. Okay, so since we asked an option here, so we need an input statement command to store the entered number. Okay, so we will use the cout command, rcn I mean cn. Then this variable option, so any number that will be pressed by the user will be stored in our option variable, and this option variable will be checked here in our while if whether the condition here in our while is either true or false. As long as it is true, so this menu will be displayed. So let's try to run our program. Okay, so we have now our menu. So press 1, it will be loaded. 2. Okay, so when we press 6, okay, it will be terminate our program. So we have finished creating our menu. Okay, so next we create a switch option. Okay, so for example, the user will press 1, so we will create a function that will create record. When the user press 2, we will create a function that will update record. When the user press 3, we will create a function that will delete the record. And 4, search, and so on. We will add a switch case. So case 1, okay, so we'll add here case 1. So what if the user press 1 option? So we will call the add record function. Okay, then we will clear the screen, then break to terminate this code. We will add a function called add record. Okay, so we're gonna put it here. So we call this add record. Okay, so add record, no return value, so we will declare as void. Okay, so we will add 2 variables, array variable, so we name it car. So this car variable, we have a buffer of 50 characters, and we have the empno variable, so we have a buffer of 5 variables. Okay, so this is used for the ID number or the employee number, and this one is for the entered name. Okay, then next we will add a prompt to our user to enter an employee number. Okay, then since we are accepting input, so we will use the cin get line command, and we will use our variable empnu. So this is the syntax of cin get line. So the variable and the buffer number or the size. Then next we will add another prompt for employee name. Then same, we will ask for a name of an employee with the cin get line command, then the name variable with the buffer 50. Next is we will create a loop that will check if the array is empty or not. So if the array is empty, so that index, it will not be loaded by a record since it's already occupied by another record. So we will skip another index, then those array with an empty value, so these 2 inputs will be stored on that array. But if that array has already a value, so it will be ignored. So that's why we need a looping statement. Okay, so we use the for loops. So this is how it works. So we have the max row, or the number of rows of our array. So check if the ID is employee ID array with an array of X. So the value of X is from 0 to max row. So to check if the inside of our array is empty, so we will use this symbol /0. So when it is empty, so it will be loaded by the two inputs variables. Okay, then break. If not, it will be ignored. Ignore. Okay, so let's run. Let's create a record. Oops, so the problem here, we don't have add, or we must ignore the red line command here. So how to fix this one? So we cannot encode an employee number because it will jump to the employee name. So we need a carriage return command. Okay, here, since we add enter, so we should enter here. So we will ignore those red line key. Okay, so this is the command to ignore, so that it will not jump to another it will not jump here. So it will be this command will be executed. So we will add cin.ignore. Okay, add record. Okay, employee number, you see 1 2 3, name J. Yes, so that J is now loaded to an array. So we add another one, Roy. Okay, that Roy is now loaded to our array. Okay, next, how to display. Okay, Okay, to check whether that two records is stored to our array. Okay, so we will add another menu. Let's copy this one. Case. When the user press display or record, or the corresponding number is 5. Okay, so we will list the record. So we will create another function called list record. Then break. So we don't need a clear screen here. Just break. Then we will add our list record function here. So we have add. So this add record is already done. So we will add another function, void list record. So what we are going to do is to display the value of this array display to our screen. Okay, so first we will create just like a menu for our record list. Okay, first we will clear the screen. When we list our record, we will clear the screen. Then next we will add a column header. So we'll add a column header just for display. Then we will display the value of our array. Okay, we will display the value of our array. This one, we will display the value because in the add record we store data to this array. Then in list record we will display. Okay, so here's the code. So first we will use a counter variable. We initialize it to 0. Then this is our header. So our header is a number, in the ID and the name. Then we will add another line. Okay, so this is the code to display the value inside of our array. So first, so we have a for loop from 0 to max row. This X will be incremented. Okay, So it display all the value of our MID and name array. Okay? So but before it will be displayed to the screen, check first if that array has an empty value. If not empty value, if our array is a record, so it will be displayed. But if the array is no record, so it will be ignored. So in this code, this will display all the data inside our array. If the counter is 0, so meaning there is no record inside our array. So that's why it will be display this no record found. Okay, so let's check. So shall we say let's display, let's press 5. So we call the list array. So it will say no record found. Okay, we'll add. Okay, we'll display. So it display J. Then we'll add another one. Then we will display. Okay, it displayed. So the next is how to search. Okay, so shall we say let's search the number, then it will display the record that correspond to the ID number that we search. Okay, so let's add another search function. So let's add another option here in our case. So when the user press 4, so we will call the search function. So let's add case 4. So when the user press case or key 4, so we'll ask for a prompt to search an ID number. Okay, so we will display a prompt. We search by ID. Then we will ask an ID number. Then we will store in our variable. Here we will use getLine command to ask a value to our search ID. Then we have a variable employee ID to store the input ID number by the user. So we will declare MID as a string variable here. After entering the employee ID, so next we will call the search record function. So we have a search record function, and this search record function we have a parameter. So the variable here will be used as our parameter in our search function. Okay, then we will terminate our case. Let's see how to create a search function. First, we will create a function name. So still void data type. Okay, so we will declare one parameter here for our search. So the parameter, we add a string data type, string. So we call this variable as search. So when we search, first we will clear the screen. Then next we will create a header. Then next, same with the list record command. Okay, what we are going to add here is a condition to stop the loop when the ID number match the search ID here in our parameter. Same, we will use the for loop, but in this case, when the ID number match to our parameters search variable, if match, it will display the value of that array, which correspond to the index X here. Then we will terminate our loop by break command. What if no employee ID match inside of our arrays? So that's why we need we define a counter variable that will increment if an ID match, but if no ID match, okay, so we will create a counter variable. So the counter variable is, we initialize it 0, so meaning if it will not pass it here, so the counter variable is still 0, so meaning declare outside our for. Okay, so meaning if the variable will not pass in this portion, it will not increment. So that's why we can add another condition outside our loop to check if the counter variable is still 0. If still 0, meaning it does not pass in this command, so meaning no search ID found, because no match, because when we check it in here, it when this ignores, so meaning the value of our counter variable is still 0. Okay, that's why we check it here. If counter is equal to 0, so it will display a no record found. Okay, so that's it. So let's check. Okay, we will display, okay, no record found, since we are using our memory as our storage device. So that's why the record that we entered previously is not retained. So we will add another record. Example 3. Let's add another 1. Joy. So let's try to display. Next, we will search. Let's search ID number 123. Okay, the problem is we need to add another CIN. We need to ignore the enter key here. So we need to ignore. This command will be executed, or else it will be ignored. So we will ignore the enter key. Okay. So let's create another record. Let's create one. The number, name, then we will display, then we will search for, okay, search by ID. For example, we search 123 C. Let's add another record, example 999 Joey. Then we search for 999, press 4, 999 C, display Joey. We will display all. Okay, it displays all. Okay, that is how search work. Okay, so this is the code of our search. So next is how to update. So this command is same with search. So we will search first, then if another employee ID match, so we will apply the update. So we will add another option. So we add another case 2 here. And the user press number 2. Okay, so we will add CIN ignore any enter keys. Then we will search the ID number of the employee that we are going to update. Same command here in our search. We just copy, but we need another function, or we will call another function to update a record. This function is called update record. Then another parameter, then we will terminate our switch. Okay, so we create another update record function here. Void. Okay, so we will use this same parameter. How to perform an update? Okay, first we need to get the employee name and the employee number. Okay, so first we will declare two variables. This will serve as our temporary variables. Then same it here, we need a counter variable. So we will count if is there any match, with the search ID. If still 0, so meaning no ID match, so that's why we will display an error message. ID does not exist, so we will search first the ID. So we will use another for statement. Okay, this is how it works. So we need, when we call this function, so we have an ID, employee ID as our parameter here, then it will check. So it will check all the value of our emp ID array. So if found, so this will loop, this will iterate, and each element of our employee ID check if matched with the entered ID number. So if found, the counter variable will be incremented, meaning there is one ID found. If no found, it will ignore. If one ID found inside our emp ID array, the loop will be terminated. And then the name, okay, that name as a temporary name will be stored in an emp array. So meaning the new updated name will be insert into the emp name array with the same index number. So this is how to update the record inside our array. So first, create a loop, check if ID number match of all the employee ID inside the array. If match, it will display a prompt to enter an updated name. Then when the user type a new name, it will be replace the emp name array with correspond the value of X here. Then it will display an update successful prompt, and the loop will be terminated. So let's check. Usually say let's create another record. 1, 2, 3. Then we'll display. Then create another record. Okay, then we will search 1, 2, 3. Okay, we will update. Press 2. So we say search the ID 1, 2, 3. Enter employee name or the updated name, example JJ. So we will display it again, or it renames the name here. Okay, so we will update the 345 ID number. Let's press 2, 345. Then we will create another name, April Joy J. Then we will display. See, it's updated now. Okay, that's it. That is how to update the record inside our array. So this command. Okay, next is delete. How to delete? Okay, we are almost finished here. So let's add another delete option to our case menu. So that is case 3. Okay, our case 3 is to prompt the user to enter an ID number to be deleted. Okay, we will add a CIN ignore. Then we will prompt an ID and get an ID entered by the user. Same here. Then next we will call the delete function. Okay, we will add a clear screen to our update. Okay, same with our delete. So after we call the delete function, we will clear our screen. Then we will terminate. Then we will add another CIN git here to ignore some enter keys. Okay, so we will create a delete function. So we are done with the update. So next, we will create a delete function. Void function name delete. Then still we use a parameter, this one. Okay, so how to delete value inside an array? Okay, first, it's same process just like search. So but the only difference is when we search an ID number, when we found the ID number, we will empty the value of the array. So first, we will add another counter variable, meaning when this counter variable will not be incremented, meaning no ID number match to our search ID. Okay, then we'll create another loop. I will add another prompt first. If the counter will not increment, it means there is no ID number found. Okay, then we will add this command. It's the same command. So this is how delete function works. So first, same, we will add a for variable. We will search, or we will check all the value of our employee ID using for loops. And if the ID number searched by the user match with that employee ID inside our employee ID array, which is correspond the value of X here, if found, meaning it will increment the counter variable, meaning the search is found an exact ID value. So when this employee ID index, it will be replaced by an empty string. So meaning it will be it deleted the value of these two array with an index X. So to delete, just replace with an empty string. Then it will prompt successfully deleted prompt to the screen. Then break. So that is how delete record works. Okay, so let's try to run. Okay, let's create 3, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's create another record 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5. Joy. Let's create a record 9. Joey. We will display. Okay, display the 3 records. Then we will try to delete the 345 ID number. It was 3, 3, 4, 5 successfully deleted. So we will display by pressing 5. Okay, so successfully deleted. So we will delete the 789 ID 3. Shall we say we will delete unknown ID? So ID number does not exist. So we will display it again. Then we will delete 789. We will press 3. 789 successfully deleted. When we search for shall we say 5 to display all. So only one record found. So let's create another one. 890 love. Let's add another one. 678 Nike. Let's display. Okay, let's add another record. The problem here, when we close our application, when we run it again, when we want to display that record, so the record is now erased from our memory. So that's why we need a permanent storage to store the value of our array that will be served as our database. So in this case, we will use a text file. So when we press 6, when we exit our program, the data that stored in our array, so we will record to our text file. And by the time when we open our program, so we will get the data from our text file and load it again to our array. How to create that program? Okay, so we will continue here. Okay, first we will use this fstream function to create a file. So we will create another function. So we will call this function as open a file. Okay, so for those who want to know how to create a file, so just see my other tutorial on how to create a file. Okay, so first we need a string line variable. So this is the variable name. So we will get all the data inside our text file and store it to our line variable. Okay, then we will use the fstream. We will use this fstream command, which is defined under fstream library. Then this fstream command, we need another variable name, and this variable name we have a parameter. Okay, so we have put into parameter, and this parameter is the file name of our text file. So we stored our text file in our drive D. So we check our drive. So this one. So we created a employee.txt. This will serve as our database. Then we will assign it as our parameter here in our myFile variable. Then the next is to open that file or to check if the file is open or closed to avoid any errors. So if the file is open, so we can create a condition. If the file is open, if it's true, if it's open, so we will get the value or the data of the text file, okay, and stored it in a line variable, line by line. So that's why we need a loop variable. So we will use the while loop, okay, to get the data inside our text file and stored it to my file, and stored it to line variable each row of data inside our employee.txt. Then we will try to extract that line of data. So we will get the employee ID part, then and we will also get the employee name part. Okay, to do that, we use a substring command, okay, to get the exact length of our employee ID and to get also the exact length of our employee name. Okay, so this is the command. For more explanation about substring, I explained that this one to one of my previous tutorials. So we need a variable x to declare a variable x. So we will start with the initial value of 0. So meaning if still this x is 0, meaning our file is empty. But if the while here gets data from the first line of our employee.txt, it will be load to a line. It will be load to the line variable. Then here it extract the line text. Then we extract the employee ID. Then we store to our variables or to our array. So then we need another variable to get the exact length of our name, because name is not exact length. So that's why we do it here. Okay, then we will increment the value of x plus. What about if no found, or what about if there are error when opening the file? So it will display unable to open the file. Then we will call that this function, we will call to our main program so that it will be executed when we run this code. Okay, then when we press the 6 option, we will save the data of our array to the text file. Okay, how to create that one? Okay, so we are now on the last part of our application, which is how to save the data from our to our arrays going to a text file. So when we press number 6, okay, so we will save the value of these two arrays to our text file. So first we will create a function that will store the data from our array to our text file. Okay, so we will create another function. Okay, we call it save to file. So void, since we have no return value, so we assign as void. Okay, then we will open our text file, this one. We will open that one. So we will use the offstream function. Okay, so the offstream function, we need to create an object of that offstream. So I will call this my file. So this is now our object name. Then we will use my file to open our text file. So we will use the open method. So then the path and the file name of our text file. Then next, so we will save all the data from our array to the text file. So we need a loop statement to read all the values inside of our arrays and then append to the text file. We will use the for statement or the for looping statement to read all the values inside of our array. So our array name is employee ID and employee name. So first we will check there is a value inside of our array. If no value, meaning we will not append it to the text file. So we will check the employee ID if has a value or no value. So if no value, we will terminate our loop. Else, if there are values, we will append it to our text file. Okay, so we will use the object myFile to append data on our text file. So append myFile, then it's like a cout statement. So we will the first value of our employee ID array and name. So we will add it to our text file. Okay, we will separate it with a comma. Okay, so all the values from our array will be append to our employee.txt text file. Okay, but if there is no data inside the array, it will terminate our loop. Okay, so then we will call this function every time we exited our program. Okay, then we will display a prompt saying exit saving to file. So let's check it out if it will save to our text file. Okay, first we will check if there is data in our file. Oh, so we have already a data. Okay, we will delete all this data. First we will delete 1, 2, 3. edit. We update the gene first. So we will display. Yes, it displayed. Then we will delete the 00 ID. That's 3000 successfully deleted. So we will display it again. Press 5. So the 00 ID was deleted. So we will try to exit 6. So we will check our text file KZ. So what about if we will add another record? We'll run it again. We'll display. So we will add 2 records. And sample 666. Hello. We'll add another record. 452. World. Enter. Then we will hit exit. Okay, so we will check our file. Okay, so here we are added 2 records, and when we are going to run our program, these records will be loaded to our array so that we can process here in our program. So that's all. I hope you get my tutorial. So don't forget to subscribe my channel, and thanks for watching.